Hey you all, I am at the White House in Washington, D.C. This is the president's residence it has since 1800 when John Adams moved in. This is awesome. I did apply for a tour like 6 months ago, but I just found out 2 weeks ago that the Trump administration denied me. So thanks. So I won't be able to show you the inside, but anyways, we're gonna look around.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is one of the most important and historic buildings in the country. It has been the official residence of every president since John Adams. George Washington selected the site, so technically you could argue that he was there also. The architect was Irish James Hoban, who won a contest for the design, and it was originally built between 1792 and 1800. John and Abigail Adams moved in 1800 before it was finished. The British burned the original White House to the ground in 1814, so it is not the house that Adams and Jefferson lived and worked in. The place at various times was not great to live in and was not in good shape, but in the past century it has become a grand and preserved home. These are some interior photographs. This is the East Room, where so many historic people and events have taken place, including the laying in state of presidents who have died in office. The rooms and their furniture and artwork are priceless. I was really looking forward to getting to see these inside the first floor, so I'll apply again on my next visit. I just imagine every president except Washington in those rooms, along with all the other historical figures who have been in them. This is the Lincoln bedroom, in which Lincoln's ghost still haunts. Theodore Roosevelt named it the White House, and he also had the West Wing and Oval Office built. That's probably the most historic room in the country. All of them work there, signed so many important pieces of legislation and executive orders.
Many more times in the future. Thank you, sir.
Now I'm gonna have to be president or get really lucky to get into the Oval Office. These are the gates to the White House, where the presidents on their horses or in carriages or in automobiles have come and gone.
Of course, the president residing here now is Donald J. Trump. He is not here. Today I checked the schedule. He is where he usually is, at one of his golf courses. He's at the one in Bedminster, New Jersey. So won't be getting to see Trump. Trump administration also put another barrier so that you can stand even farther away than 2 years ago. So this road is now only for pedestrians, and it's always pretty crowded out here in front of the White House.
Cet acteur à 24 ans réussit à aller en retraite sans avoir travaillé, mais peut bien être toujours au pouvoir et il a 86 ans.
There's another big protest set up. I think this is one of the ones that's manned 24/7. That's what's so awesome about this place. Free speech. On this side of the White House is Lafayette Park, its centerpiece being America's first equestrian statue of Andrew Jackson over there. And there are 4 statues to foreigners who helped us during the American Revolution. As I mentioned, this was the first equestrian statue in the United States of General and President Andrew Jackson. When it was built, it was a engineering feat because put all the weight of that onto those 2 legs. It's a nice way to memorialize our most genocidal maniac president. That's an awesome shot. Andrew Jackson, the White House, and the Washington Monument. And here's the statue of the Marquis de Lafayette, because he proved immigrants get the job done. And this park was named for him. This is a monument to the Polish General Tadeusz Kosciuszko. He was in a revolution in Poland, got exiled here, and then joined the American Revolution. Very important at the Battle of Saratoga. This is the monument to Baron von Steuben, the Prussian who helped teach American soldiers how to fight in the American Revolution. Provided some critical training, especially at Valley Forge. Also in this square, General Daniel Sickles, before he was a general, I think it was in Congress at the time, shot and killed Francis Scott Key's son over lovers. Read about General Dan Sickles. He's got an interesting story. This is the statue of Rochambeau. He led the French Navy during the American Revolution, and his help was critical because cut off Cornwallis at Yorktown that enabled victory for the Americans. That is the Eisenhower Executive Office building, built in 1888. Many people always considered it very ugly, and it almost got torn down, but Jackie Kennedy actually saved it. And I'm really glad they saved it. That's the Renwick Gallery. It's part of the Smithsonian. It's got like arts and crafts. There's Blair House. This is the Blair House. It's pretty much the White House guest house now. Something very historic happened here. In 1950, President Harry Truman was living in the house while the White House was being renovated. There was an assassination attempt. It could have gone very badly. That happened right here. Two Puerto Rican nationalists tried to storm into the Blair House where Harry Truman was sleeping, but the police did manage to take them out. Officer Leslie Coughlett did die though. He got shot but managed to kill one of the attempted assassins. And I visited his grave at Arlington National Cemetery. This is the National Historic Landmark, Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Beautiful old houses along the Lafayette Park. That is quite a historic house right there. That is the home of Stephen Decatur, the American Revolution naval hero, who also died in a duel over here at Lafayette Square. But that house has also been lived in by President Martin Van Buren while he was Secretary of State under Jackson, James K. Polk's Vice President George M. Dallas, and also the great compromiser Henry Clay. Behind the scaffolding was the home of Dolly Madison. She lived here after her husband James Madison's death. She was very active here too. This building is called the Little White House. McKinley's first vice president, Garrett Hobart, lived here. Also right about here was the home of Secretary of State William Seward under Abraham Lincoln, and it's also where his assassination attempt happened on the same night, April 14th, 1865. Lewis Powell, who's considered the hottest Lincoln conspirator by many, snuck in, stabbed William Seward many times. He was already super sick, and actually his neck brace they had probably saved his life, but he was severely injured. And the house was torn down, but it was approximately right here. This is St. John's Church, the oldest church in Washington, D.C. It has been attended by every president. It is a National Historic Landmark.
It was built in 1816, and every president since James Madison has attended a service at least once. This is the President's Pew, where all the presidents since Madison have sat. That is a truly incredible relic. Also, every president since FDR has attended on Inauguration Day, except for Nixon. All of the presidents have their own kneelers there as well. Unfortunately, they did not let me sit in it. The lady at the church said,
You don't come to church enough.
but President Trump has attended. It is a Greek Revival church, very beautiful but simple architecture. And there is the Lincoln Pew in the back right corner of the church, where Lincoln frequently and quietly came during the Civil War, apparently alone every time.
So Obama lived upstairs in this hotel before he became president.
The Hay Adams Hotel opened in 1928, and I heard that it's haunted.
Now I'm gonna head to Off the Record. It's a favorite restaurant and bar of recent politicians and presidents. It's in the basement of the Hay Adams Hotel.
So I was literally the only person here until right before I left. I asked the waiter if he knew of any seats that Obama or some other politicians sit in normally, and he said no, we keep that off the record. At this secret bar and restaurant, if you're out of place here like I was, you'll usually be sitting around lobbyists or hearing some important political talk. Unfortunately, no one was there for me to eavesdrop on. I was looking forward to hearing some state secrets. The walls are lined with political caricatures and cartoons, which are amazing. A lot of those depicted on the walls have been patrons. I'm not going to add any political commentary, just enjoy these. Gotta love it. This is now one of my favorite restaurants.
This is the Treasury Building, built under Jackson. This is the third one on the site because all the others started burning. Jackson wanted to make sure this one wouldn't burn. And at the front here is a statue of Albert Gallatin, who was Secretary of the Treasury under Thomas Jefferson and instrumental in getting the Louisiana Purchase. They've got this side all blocked off, but over there is a statue of the first Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton. That dude thinks Jimmy Carter was a replacement, that they killed him. He gave me this. Apparently, this Christian holy site is a mosque now, and that's a bad thing. Yeah, there's a lot of batshit crazy people out here. That's a monument to General Winfield Scott, hero of the Mexican-American War. I was hoping to see the other side of the White House, but it looks like they have like the entire ellipse blocked off. The ellipse here is a tourist hotspot. All sorts of makeshift stands. That's the Boy Scouts of America statue. This thing on the ellipse is a gatehouse designed by Charles Bulfinch, the same architect as the U.S. Capitol building. And that's the other side of the White House. Yeah, just seeing that building is amazing. There's so much history there. It's still an active place in our government. That is just so awesome. But anyways, if you like this video, please subscribe and go check out my other DC videos. And thanks for watching.